This first question comes from an absolutely amazing pickleball player and a great friend of ours. Here's a question from the one and only Lucy Kovalova.
Hey Mills, hey guys. In case you guys don't know, Mills is the legend and definitely future Hall of Famer. But I have a question for you, Mills. What is the funniest story you have related to pickleball? I miss you. Bye.
That's sweet. That's almost the nicest I've seen Lucy be to me right now. Okay. Yeah. She usually is vicious, and you got to watch your P's and Q's with her. But Lucy is awesome. I love her. She's so sweet. But I'm trying to think. It might be something like when you're playing rec with your buddies and you just always talk shit all the time, something like that. You just have fun with your friends, and then it escalates. And I had a lot of that over the years, and a lot of indoor play, so things get loud and echoes. And I remember some friends, like we almost got kicked out of the gym. Like basketballs come fly on the court, and they'd fight with basketball players, and they're thinking, what is this stupid sport? Get out of our basketball court, or something like that. But it was really good to see her. I love Lucy. She's so sweet. We do a lot of traveling, and I've got a lot of opportunity to stay in the same house as her and Matt Wright. When I'm with Irina, staying with her, and they usually put me in the kitchen, and I like to cook sometimes. I only make a few things, but I do these tacos.
I don't know if you're aware of this, but Kyle Yates actually hijacked our podcast one time and showed the best way to make a taco, in his opinion. I feel like we should sometime have maybe a Chris Miller versus Kyle Yates taco cook-off or something like that.
Taco off.
I made my tacos for Kyle Yates because he stayed at my house for a summer, and I made it for him. So he's probably using my recipe, okay? So
oh, man.
As long as he's not using my salsa, I'll kick his butt on this.
I think he did give you credit when he did it. So
I've got a special way of making my tacos. So I actually learned this from someone you're very familiar with, Chris Mills Miller from Seattle, Washington. I actually lived with him for 2 summers in his house. It was incredible. I learned a lot of very valuable life lessons.
This next question comes from one of my personal favorite people in all of pickleball, and that is Mr. Rob Cassidy.
What's up, Eddie? What's up, Webby? How's it going, Chris Miller? Chris, how many national titles do you have? What are they, and who'd you get them with?
He's one of my favorites all time. When I met him in Rochester and came up for a tournament with Billy Jacobson, it was so much fun meeting him. And I wanted to just say, hey, I like you, man. Why don't you come down my way and we'll practice, play some tournaments, and that's how it formed. And Rob's just taken off and doing so awesome. I don't know how many national titles I have. I think I have like 9, 10, or 11, something like that.
Wow.
A lot in age brackets, some a lot in singles, a lot in doubles. My best, I don't know. I remember in 2014, me and Matt Staub, we took the silver medal. I got so many silver medals, I don't even know what to do with too, but I still love them just the same. You know what I mean? I think even taking the silver in one match was just as nice as, winning some gold to me. So, and I learned more over the years that, cause I was such a singles player early on that it took me a while. I think I really stopped playing singles in 2012, 13 and focused more on doubles. And it took me 2 years to get back in the net. Cause I always played doubles, but really, I don't think anyone wanted to play with me because I was playing a singles game in a doubles world, and I would just do these random horrible shots. And, it took me forever to find partners, in the beginning because everyone knew that, my backhand sucked at one point and I was just ripping single shots the whole time. And it took me a while when I dedicated myself and I played with Billy and Dan Gabnick on a regular just to say, hey, this is, I want to get good. And these 2 guys are in the Hall of Fame right now and 2 of the top players of all time. And they really helped my game just to practice with them. It was awesome.
That's actually not the only question you have from Rob. Here's question number 2 from Rob Cassidy.
My second question is, have you ever competed in a tournament against Tim Nelson? And how'd that go?
Me and Tim, we had so many battles. Like, this guy would not stand down, and I didn't want to back down either. Like, if it was just an out ball call or whatever it would be, but we just battled on and off the court for the first few years, and I don't think we really liked each other because we were just competitors against each other. But we worked it all out. I really liked him a lot, and he's done a lot for my game and helped me. And he's still a young guy over there. I don't think he's even 30 yet. And I played a lot with him this last summer too. I think he's playing really well. I know he's got some issues, like he doesn't play in the heat very well and has some heart issues, but boy, he's one of the smartest ones and a really great player. But yeah, we battled and we fought and we argued, and it felt like we almost went to blows like 5 or 6 times. Like off the court, like he would not ever back down. I mean, I feel like I finally did, because this kid was so persistent. You can see why he's pursuing his stuff to be a lawyer, and it'll probably be a damn good one. He's a smart kid, and really talented.
This next question comes from a fellow legendary pickleball player. In fact, she's so legendary that she's in the Pickleball Hall of Fame. Here's a question from Jennifer Lucore.
Oh, hey, Eddie and Webby, Jennifer Lucore here. How are you? Hey, I hear you have Chris Miller on your show, and I was just reading about him. Let me get my glasses on. I was in the Washington chapter in the history book, and it says in the late 1980s, Chris Miller played pickleball in his Seattle high school PE class and later competed in tournaments at the same community college where Steve Paranto started playing a decade earlier. How cool is that? So, Mr. Chris Miller, you have been around the pickleball world a very long time. So what do you think of it now, and where do you think it's going?
That just reminded me of when Jen would come up to Washington. She likes to come to Washington and just explore every little nook and cranny of pickleball stuff. So I remember going to doing the Canadian Nationals with her. Had a lot of fun doing that and just traveling with her, and she loves to travel. So where it's going, boy, it's going so fast and it's getting so big, and the tournaments are, you look at – I remember you could scroll on pickleballtournaments.com and you could see everything on one little screen, and now it's like it takes a day and a half to find your tournament. So, all over the country, wherever it's going. You know what? I hope it makes the Olympics, and I hope they have a senior Olympics. I don't know. No, but I think that's where it's going. But I heard, all the talks and the rumors, like if it does, they'll have to change it to rally scoring, and so be it. Let's do it. Let's get it out there, because the world is starting to play, and everyone loves it. It's an addicting game, and it ain't stopping. And COVID ain't going to stop it, and we're playing, and we're not going to stop. And it's the best sport in the world in a way. It's really cool.
My other question for you is, what do you think about players out there on the court that yell and cuss and throw their paddle and yell at the ref? What do you think about that?
What do you think about that, Chris?
I love it. If anything they can get away with, but they keep it in between the lines, you know what I mean? And don't go, I don't know. I'm used to be one of those guys, kind of. I've tamed it down a little bit, but I know when Jen would always tell me, Chris, don't do that, and I'll just say, jeez, okay, you know what I mean? And so she was always trying to be the best she could be, and she was. And I was always pushing the envelope the opposite way sometimes. I don't even know, you know what I mean? But it was so much fun playing with her. I mean, it was an honor, and we, always did so well.
We actually have a few questions from another Pickleball Hall of Famer. So here is the first question from Steve Paranto.
Hey, Chris, I bet you never thought 15 years ago when you and I were playing there would ever be pickleball podcasts, and you'd be a pro and there'd be other pros asking you questions. First off, I do have a story, though. I was playing Chris at State Games of Oregon, and when I was in my early 50s. I had never played him before, and it was singles, and silly me thinking I had a chance at beating this 30-something player who was at the top of his game. Anyway, I remember that match really well. We were playing on the wood floor, and I was hitting shots that I thought were absolute winners. I was like hitting them and going, yeah, it's like it's a passing shot, and you were diving and hitting winners back. Anyway, if you remember, when that match was over with, I told you, and I meant it, that you're the best singles player I've ever played in my life. And later that year, you won the national singles title. And after that match, I went up to you and you were pretty emotional. And you told me, hey, Steve, I never forgot what you told me that day earlier this year. Anyway, that was a great moment watching you win the national title. And my first question, Chris, what year was that?
Wow, that's super cool because, I mean, most people probably don't know Steve as well, Steve Paranto. He's definitely a legend of the game. But when we met and we played, when he said that to me, it was really cool. I just have a lot of respect for him. And I remember when he said that. But it was in 2010, and I was in the finals in 2009, and I think I dove on the cement. I was up 9-0 to a guy, and I had a concussion, and I tried to battle my way back in 100-degree heat. I didn't make it. I took second, but I remember he said I was emotional, and that reminded me because my mom passed away, and I did it for my mom, so it was really cool. So anyway, it's nice that Steve, brought that up. And when he told me that comment, because I knew Steve was good in his day, and he was one of the best. It was the best, and playing singles against him was just really fun. It was really awesome.
We've got a few more from him, so here we go. Here's
Nice.
question number 2 from Steve Paranto.
Chris, there was a time, and I remember this well, when you were known as just the singles player. What was the big change you made from singles to doubles to get that attitude to be an excellent doubles player? Was it strategy? Was it patience? Tell us what switch you flipped to be a great doubles player.
Playing with Dan and Dan Gabnick, Billy Jacobson really helped me a lot. And just to finally dedicate myself to it and really work at it, because I needed the work to do it. I didn't even want to dink at all. So I just wanted to blast it all the time. And so, it took a little discipline, but it was easy to do, really. I mean, when I figured, and it's like that day when I said, today's the day, I said, I'm just going to do the right shot and make it work for me. And then when I have my openings, they'll come, and then I can get to play my singles, my shot in there. You know what I mean? And no one's going to stop it, or whatever. So when I get that opportunity.
So here is question number 3 from Steve Paranto.
All right, Chris, be honest. Back in those old days, none of us had paddle sponsors, never even dreamed of such a thing. And in that time period, you were a little bit hot-headed on the court and maybe even abusive to your paddles. Now that we have paddle sponsors and you are sponsored, you are able to maintain your behavior on the court. Is it just because you're told you have to and you're doing it, or has Chris Miller just matured on the court?
I knew some of that would come out. You know what? I don't mind having that John McEnroe kind of label a little bit, but I was never ever really mad ever or anything like that. And I broke a few paddles here and there, but I know that what was really cool is when I signed with Paddletech finally. I think it was Paddletech with 7 years, and Curtis Smith, I love him to death. He's such a good guy. He took me in. I never even really had to sign a contract with him, and that's why I also love Steve Dawson so much. Just everything I did, he's like, hey, this is you until, it's not, you know what I mean? But Curtis took me in from Paddletech and said, I love your fire. I love how your style and your play and your edge and, even your breaking paddles, whatever it is, I like it. And I want you to be Paddletech. And that meant a lot, just how he liked how I was on the court in a sense. And I think he knew and saw that I wasn't really, gonna throw a paddle into a stand or anything like that.
Our next question comes from the one and only Wes Gabrielsen.
Yeah.
Hey Dad, it's your son Wes. Or, for those that aren't aware, Chris Miller is like my dad in pickleball. I always call him Dad. Some people know him as Father Time. We won't get into that right now. But I hope you're doing well, my friend. I've got a couple of questions for you. Number 1, I know you're a big music lover. And we've talked about music a lot over the years as friends. I know you're a big U2 fan. If you had to pick your top 2 favorite U2 songs, what would they be?
Wes is one of my favorite guys in a way. just seeing him, and he's probably one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet. And he calls me dad, but I swear he looks older than me. And if he takes off that beanie, he's got more gray hair than I do. Okay. And anyway, he's so good. I don't think he gets enough credit. He's so talented. He gets to switch hands, and he's still doing it. And he's great. So top U2 songs. I don't want to go so basic to say like somewhere on Joshua Tree, but I really liked I think the song's Unforgettable Fire on that album, and some reason I like 40. The song is called 40.
We actually do have one more question from Wes. It's going to be the final question of the Pros Asking Pros question segment, so let's go ahead and roll it.
And lastly, are we ever going to see you play a rematch in singles against Canadian legend Brian Lamb? Hope you're doing well. Love you, my friend. Stay safe and well, and I will see you on the court soon.
I didn't think you'd bring it up on it. No, I remember some guy I lost to in Canada, but I already got in the losers bracket, and I was like kind of done with it. But I probably lost to he played great. He had some great shots. This guy Brian Lamb, and he beat me. In Canada, I don't know, but yeah, played fantastic, and Wes will never let it down. He that I lost to him. So, but I've already beat that guy before, I think, so it's okay.
I see that Tyson McGuffin is tuning in. He said 20+ tourneys a year in the 90s with zero prize money. Heart emoji.
Yeah, McGuffin knows the heart emoji is probably going because just for the love of the game. That's what I did. Yeah, I'll play these tournaments and never make a dime. And now Tyson's doing what I did, and now he's making millions.
Pickleball addicting and fun, that's no joke. Pickleballing, it's not just for old folks. Pickleball.